gotta be. I ain't living in your fantasy, and I'll be real if it's the death of me. I'ma be who I gotta be, and I don't care who you pretend to be, cause I'll be real if it's the death of me.
You changed on us. Nobody's acting different but you. You changed on us.
You changed up on us.
Yeah.
So why don't you go out no more?
You know what?
You good for us now?
Yeah, I'm too good for y'all, man. I don't go out. Nah. For real though, I really haven't been like feeling like myself lately when it comes to going out and all that. First off, it's just a part of, I guess, the weekend ritual. We get hammered, bro. We get hammered. You know, what I hate Saturday morning, Sunday morning is waking up. You know, any time past 10 o'clock. If I wake up past 10 o'clock, I'm automatically mad at myself. You know, because that time has escaped me already. So it's like, okay, I could have been doing X, Y, and Z. Not only that, I'm gonna probably feel sluggish. So don't get me wrong, I definitely enjoy hanging out with my friends, going out partying, all that good stuff. But yeah, man, I'm understanding more and more how expensive it really is as far as like your time, you know, going out. And then that time the next day, for me at least, I know some friends that can literally throw them back, and then be up the next day like nothing ever happened.
Wait, so why'd you change though? Like, what made you change? Like, for real though, what actually made you change? And granted, like, you're probably changing. Like,
yeah, what's actually changing?
Is it the money? Is it the feeling? Is it like what is it? The time?
It's a little bit of the money and the feeling. Like, I do a lot of not work on the weekend, but a lot of preparation on the weekend for, like, you know, laying out the scheme of my week, maybe for an hour. Because, you know, they pay me decent money to do my job. So, you know, it kind of takes away, or it concerns me when I'm like, okay, I don't want to take away from that, and anything that I can do to, you know, supplement my career, my performance. So that hour, 2 hours is crucial to me on the weekend, you know. So I have to factor that. I have to factor in that planning, and then also my personal life. And then on top of that, I'm still studying for other certifications too. So like, there's only so many hours in a day. So when you chop yourself, you automatically three before the day even starts. It's like, damn, come on, bro. You know what I mean? So I think it was just a conversation with myself recently where I'm like, all right, man, I got to do better. I woke up one day, bro, which it was a great night. We had a great night, had a ball. I didn't wake up the next day till like 2 in the afternoon. 2 in the afternoon, bro.
Right,
and
that's
I was
a lot.
like,
hey, that's a skill right there.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, I can't keep doing this. Like I sat there for a while. And I think I told you about that in the past. Like, bro, those nights, I mean, those mornings after drinking, for some reason, I'm just like the most, like, it's such a mellow, weird form to where like my thoughts are super pure, to where I'm like, okay, here are my priorities. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing this. I need to do more of that, less of that. I don't know what it is, bro, but like, yeah, after those
you said the moment after, or the morning after?
Let's call it the morning after effect, bro. Yeah, because I'd be definitely like sitting there like, man, you know what? That's when I need to give me a whiteboard. That's when I start jotting stuff down and start cracking open my notes, and, you know, but yeah, man, I can't keep letting that time escape me. We only got so much. And plus, yeah, like I said, I came across this group of friends who we're all around the same age, and they're not going out. You know, they're all still having a good time traveling, you name it, but they're not going out on weekends. Like,
yeah, those be having that post drink clarity.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's your clarity.
Hey man, it must be something in the drinks.
No, I wanna dive into this though, because like you're saying that like it's the change is beneficial because of X, like the time, the feeling, or whatever. But like, are you seeing that those other friends like why is it worth it for you or for anybody else to not do a certain thing? Like, do your other friends have like a different lifestyle that you want, or different aspects to the lifestyle that you want? Like why would I stop going out every weekend? Like, if I got the money to do it, if I can afford it, which I'll talk about that in a second, but
you make a decent chunk of change. But I'm glad you say that though, because like there's nothing wrong with going out, right? If I had all all my ducks lined up the way I wanted them, I would be going out. But to me right now, I'm on a linear path as far as I have an end goal that I want to get to, and I have a time frame. So like to the people that are going out, that doesn't necessarily say that they don't have the same, but just the way that my mind is geared and just for the purposes of like efficiency and not wanting to, wake up 6 months from now and realize where I could have been versus where I'm actually at. I've been told that I'm too aggressive as far as career progression goes. Like people tell me sometimes, like, oh, you got to take a chill pill. People just send me memes early, like you got to take a chill pill, bro. Like sometimes enjoy yourself, whatever. But to me, it's just kind of like do 100 miles an hour, get it done, and then at some point you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm kind of in that realm right now. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with going out partying, nothing like that. It's just, to me, it's a time suck for me, and I have goals and deadlines to meet. So like, if anybody listen, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you know that you have areas of improvement, don't shy away from the things that give you comfort. Evaluate those areas too. I'm not saying you got to take them away; those are important, but just make sure you evaluate them. That was me. I evaluated like what I do. And I saw that as a bit of a time suck, and I was like, well, how much happiness does it actually bring me? I'm like, well, you know what? I kind of really enjoy myself in the gym too. I kind of really enjoy it when I go do this and that. So I like thought about it. I'm like, well, I can do other things that don't really take away from my time like that also don't make me feel that way. So it's just kind of like me, pulling the gauges a little bit, twisting, turning the knobs to adjust my balance and stuff like that. But super important, great question to ask, because yeah, I'm not throwing no shade at nobody. If I had it my way, I would be clubbing every weekend. But I got stuff to do right now. That's how I feel.
Yeah. What makes you like actually feel good? Like it's like going out is fun, but like what actually makes you feel good? Yeah, like I have the same feeling like working out. Like no, I don't necessarily enjoy the act of working out, but I know that makes me feel good.
This is this about to be funny, bro. To somebody, what makes me feel good is organization. Like on the simplest form, bro. Y'all heard of well, let's just call it one. I use notes and task management systems for my personal day, and I blame my consulting role a little bit for it, but organization is what makes me happy in a day-to-day scheme. So like literally, bro, like it's stupid. I wish I could show you a screenshot right now, but like from waking up in the morning, taking my supplements, drinking so much water before half the day, drinking so much water at certain point, like all of that stuff is pushing the needle in the right direction, or it's pushing me to where I want to go. So that is a small scale of like, what makes me happy. So like if I say I want to go to Hawaii, I want to go to Costa Rica, I want to go here, there, do this, do that. Tracking that progress is what makes me excited. Of course, the actual, when it comes to the actual event or whatever you're leading up to, that too. But like, yeah, actually measuring my progress, that is what brings me happiness right now. Oh, no. Kind of corny, bro. That is corny. Yeah, somebody gonna be like, man, this dude full of it.
Kenny, did you have anything on that before I like completely switch gears?
I mean, I think you guys hit it on the head. I don't think like it necessarily needs to be like I don't think you need to remove it, right? Like you don't need to not go out every weekend.
Yeah.
Like just do what you enjoy. Kudos to the people who can go every weekend. I can't take it. I don't have the energy to do that, man. I wake up.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
I was gonna say, to be clear, like me, I think I get fuel from going out like once a day, almost every single weekend. Like that kind of fuels me.
Yeah,
like I need that break.
Yeah, some people recharge with social interaction, right? Like I'm definitely one who can do both. I love interacting with friends. I love going out and doing things as well. Some days mostly for me, it's like after work, I just want to chill at home.
Yeah,
I don't really want to do anything. But on the weekends,
that's huge.
And then on the weekends though, yeah, like I want to go out and to do something.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people's default is just to go out and drink because they don't know what else there is to do. I blame, at least here, I blame winter for that too. Like everyone always says, all you can do is eat and drink. But
yeah,
I mean, you can find stuff to do. But Yeah, like I'm sure we all know people who are, we all always see them on social media constantly going out. It's like I don't want to deter people from enjoying themselves,
Yeah.
but you also have to be able to take a step back and like analyze, like, is this, like what you did, Los, is this draining me?
Yeah.
Like, is this,
Yeah. Break it down.
yeah, it's all good to take a break for a little bit. You can always go out again, right? It's not like you're swearing off
Yeah.
drinking and partying.
It ain't going nowhere, man. I got people that like the mentality is almost like, this is our last weekend. Yeah, life is short, but at the same time, what do you do when we always say we could die tomorrow. We could die
Yeah.
tomorrow. It's true. But we've made it to 7,000 tomorrows now. You don't think you should do a little bit of, shifting that mindset? It's a little bit, it's true. Life is short, but
It is true. But
living by it and dying by it can cost you a lot.
Yeah. Life is about balance.
About balance.
Yeah.
And before you kick that off, Lee, I got a question for y'all. That was a good talking point that we was just on there. So we was talking about like people saying there's nothing to do here, nothing to do there, wanting to get out of the house. But a great point that you brought up, Kenny, is like you said you enjoy, spending time at the house, just chilling. So what I want to talk about is like how people can or cannot just sit in the house and enjoy the comforts and confines of their own personal space.
It's a good question.
Some people pay crazy amounts of mortgage, pay crazy amounts in rent, and they not even staying in the house because they don't like being alone, or they don't like just sitting in the house, even if they with family, whatever, but like don't like to sit still or be in their own presence. I've lived by myself, so like I think I slowly have started to. I realized, for one, that I was supplementing my time that I spend alone, like just chilling in the house. I supplement that by replacing it with I bring people in, or I go out and go do this, go do that. And I'm like, you know what? When's the last time you just sat and chilled like in your own presence and actually enjoyed yourself? That's the key part, and actually enjoyed yourself.
I think everyone needs to learn. Like, I think this might be a hot take, but like I think everyone needs to at least like learn how to be alone. Because like if you can't be alone with yourself, like that means like there's something wrong there, in my opinion. Like you can't, like I think like you have to be, I don't know if the word, like comfortable or whatever, like you just have to be able to be alone with yourself. And before you're able to like actually, I don't know, interact or spend time with other people.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think, some people might misinterpret this and say like, oh, you need to be by yourself all the time, or you shouldn't need social interaction. Like that's not what we're talking about at all here. We're saying that you can be completely fine, comfortable with like being present and happy by yourself. There are some people who literally can't sit in a room and like hear their own thoughts and be happy with them, or like just complete silence. Like for a second, like some people can't deal with those things. And I completely agree. Like I think everyone knows, like me and Zeus travel by ourselves, and Zeus don't talk to me too much. He don't talk to me too much, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I try to learn a practice of like being able to sit by myself, to like truly accept myself first. And hey, are you okay with where you are in life? Are you okay with how you look, how you feel, the image that you portray? Like, because that's another thing. Like that's probably where it stems from, is like in high school, middle school. If you're sitting at a lunch table by yourself, you're the weird kid.
Yeah, you're the loser.
You're the loser. Like something's wrong with you. The fact that you're by yourself. That probably happens in relationships. Like people can't be alone. Gotta have a relationship or whatever.
Gotta always have someone to rely on.
Always, because we're kind of like taught to be with somebody, which again, not a bad thing at all. But I think what we're talking about here is like, hey, can you like just sit in silence for a second and talk to yourself and be happy with the conversation? Can you listen to your own thoughts and like just have peace by yourself? Because if you can't have peace, what you were saying, you cannot have peace literally sitting by yourself. Why would someone else want to be with you? Never mind.
You're kind of dependent at that point, but just to turn it up a notch. Okay, let's talk about, like y'all said, you said that traditionally it's a norm to, like, when you see somebody alone, you automatically think, oh, there's something wrong with them. Like, they're weird, or they just truly don't have no friends or whatever. It's like a bit of a stigma painted there. But those people that truly enjoy their personal time and enjoy being alone, those are the ones like Leo, you're one of them. Leo, like a pioneer when it comes to traveling by yourself, man. Kenny, you probably are too, but like people that truly have no issue going somewhere alone. You know, oh, I travel all the time by myself. People be like, by yourself, you ain't take no friends, no family with you. You ain't feel weird just sitting in the airport. No, I'm in my own presence.
Yeah. And I always like I like talking to people. Like I can make friends with anyone, I like to think. So like when I go places by myself, I'm not afraid to talk to people and just have, conversations and start, potentially start friendships and stuff. So like I'm perfectly comfortable being alone, but it took me a long time actually like to get comfortable with myself, right? Like I
Yeah.
like what Leo said. You have all these stigmas of things like in high school, no one wants to be that kid sitting at the table.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of it, Leo, you hit a lot of it on the head, right on the head. Like I think a lot of it stems from insecurities with your own self, and that's why a lot of people don't like being alone with their own thoughts, because you most likely are your own worst critic, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're not happy with
Yep.
yourself, you're just going to sit there with your thoughts. So like
Yeah.
you need something to drown it out.
Yeah.
And Kenny, I don't know how you got over it, but like to the person right now that's like, yo, I don't like, you're probably either justifying like, oh, I don't like to be by myself because of X, like you have a reason for it, or you're like, dang, like you're right. I don't like to be by myself because of like I'm insecure.
Mhm.
Like for either person, know that like again, I think it's probably natural for us to not want to be by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Also it's like a nature and nurture type thing. Like we're kind of bred as human beings to have community, so it's not, again, not a bad thing whatsoever. Kenny, how do you think that you I don't want to say got over it or overcome it, because I don't think that that's like the proper terms, but like I know for myself personally, the reason that I was motivated to do things on my own more so was because I felt that other people were kind of impeding on my happiness more so than not. And I
Okay.
wasn't able to find my exact people that I was happy with. Like I've always been in the search of, I hate to be cliche, but peace. Like
Yeah.
always been in search of that. And like in high school, I wasn't a football player, but I happened to like go to state. So there comes like a little bit of like notoriety there. So I'm like, I'm dodging every like public facing thing, popularity. Like I learned at a very young age, I was trying to like dodge that stuff. Number one, I don't like attention. And number two, I'm like, you're probably only here because I am this in your eyes. So
Yep.
that's the only reason why I'm like, okay, traveling by myself is because I'm trying to avoid people who look at me like that to be around me. Like that's it. That's, I don't know if that's a cheat code or what, but I'm never looking for someone to validate me,
Mm-hmm.
more so that we can like, be mutual in a relationship.
Seems like it made it easier for you. Like
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
like a
probably so.
blessing and a curse.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I don't think you should ever look for some like to other people for validation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to be comfortable. I mean, the whole theme I think of this, at least this topic, is like you need to be comfortable with yourself and you need to be happy with yourself before you can be happy in other aspects of your life. And that's not an easy thing to do. Like a lot of it comes with just, for me personally, it came with a lot of accepting, knowing where I want to go, knowing how much further, like knowing like how much farther I have to go to get there, and knowing that I can get there.
Mm.
And it's a lot of just like understanding you're not, no one's perfect. You're not, and you have an idea of like, maybe I have an ever-changing idea of who I want to be. Like my goal every day is just to be a better version of myself yesterday, right?
Hmm.
I try to learn something every day, and I just want to keep improving, keep iterating on myself, keep getting better. And I don't know what the end goal of that is, right? I don't think there's ever a finished version until I'm gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
But I think it took a long time to actually kind of understand like that's how change works, and and that's okay. Like it took me, I guess the best way to phrase it is like it took me a long time to actually like appreciate the journey rather than just focus on the destination.
What was your like destination though?
I mean, the same thing that I think everyone wants is to be happy. It's such an
Okay.
arbitrary, like vague thing, but everyone, that's all people want, right?
Yeah.
People just say to themselves, I just want to be happy. And then you
Mhm.
think of all these things like, okay, well, I see this person's life. I want this life, or like I'm not happy with my body. I want this body that I think is like socially beautiful or more attractive, etc. Like so you're chasing all these things that you see, Because I think part of it is like it's thrown in front of you and it's like that's what you think you want, but I think it takes time to take a step back and figure out what you actually want.
I think that's it right there. That was a bar. Yeah, a lot of times you're chasing these things that you think you want, maybe because you've seen it, but again, like, will that actually make you happy? Like, right back to the whole like drinking every weekend. It's like, oh, this looks fun. This is what everybody's doing. Like, this has to be the way that we're happy or socially accepted, whatever it is. But like, is that actually happiness for you? Yeah, I don't think a lot of people explore that. I don't think a lot of people like truly, and that's
No, I think there's a lot of things. I think one thing too I've been trying to do is like I try to let people experience something first if before I like make say feedback on it. So like if you're gonna go see a movie, I don't want to let my because if you say like, oh, I've never been to like, okay, maybe I go like, I've never been to Texas or something. I have, but let's just say like this for this example, if I go, oh, I've never been to Texas, and maybe you two have, you both have a different experience, and then you tell me your experience. When I go to Texas, all I'm gonna think about is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So your experience is gonna subconsciously affect my experience.
Yeah. Either validate it or you're trying to prove it wrong. One of the two. That's all you're focusing on.
Yeah. And sometimes it's sometimes it's impossible to like not talk about because people ask for recommendations, right? Or something like that. So sometimes it's hard to not give something away, like give some feedback.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is I want you to experience it. Like I'll give you maybe some of my recommendations or a baseline, but I don't want my experience to affect your experience. I'll gladly talk and just chat and have a conversation comparing the two.
Yeah.
But I feel like for people to truly learn or experience something, you have to do it blind in a sense.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna go ahead, G.
What that reminds me of, Leo, when we went out to Dallas, which we're doing this whole round, Dallas, then to Houston, and from Houston back to Kansas City, just trying to get a feel for different potential areas to live. But when we went to Dallas, Leo said something, and it was ringing in my head the whole time we was there. He said the first thing that I thought, I'm sure he probably read my mind. First thing I thought, we went to a little night scene, right, called Deep Ellum in Dallas, and I was blown away. I'm like, bro, this place is huge. And the first thing that you want to do, or the first thing that I naturally did, was compare that to what I've seen. So I'm like, oh man, bro, like Broad Ripple ain't got nothing like this. So like, I'm like, man, this is like Broad Ripple times 10. Whoop-de-whoop, blase blah. Had a great night. The next night, Leo, like, what you want to do, bro? And because I compared it and I kind of, I looked at it from a similar lens to like Broad Ripple, I naturally gravitated that way the second night. He's like, where you want to go? We in Dallas, bro. You're not from Dallas. You're trying to see how it feels out here just in case you want to live here. And all I could tell, my mind just kept telling me, man, you go to Deep Ellum.
Deep Ellum.
It's familiar to you. Yeah. Go to Deep Ellum. It's like Broad Ripple times 10, but it's like Broad Ripple. It's like similar stomping grounds. So, it was a lot of persuasion there because I was comparing it to what I know. So
yeah,
it had a lot to do with, the decisions that I made while I was there. But yeah, that definitely, I didn't think about it till we got back. But yeah, Leo just kept saying, man, don't compare it to India and what you know, what you're used to, man.
I have two thoughts on that. One is like I actually like to compare cities to like Indianapolis because it's like, so in this case, I think it's a little different than my earlier point because I like to use it as like a frame of reference, like a bar to compare. And so like when I travel to cities, because at least for me, I have a frame of reference that I can compare it to. It's like if I'm traveling to another city to experience it, to live in it, or to try to live in it, I can compare with what I know. So I'm like, okay, like I really like Boston. I think Boston is way more diverse. Yes, the traffic is worse, but I was like, cool. I feel like there's a lot more character, a lot more food choices, a lot more diversity than Indianapolis. So it's just like,
right. So
you can like beat the bar at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the difference was though, is that like we were trying to compare one aspect of Dallas in a good manner,
Dallas.
in a good manner to a place that we were trying to leave. So, hey, I have a negative connotation of Broad Ripple, comparatively. Like, Broad Ripple isn't enough. So, we're going to Dallas. Oh, I found somewhere that's like really similar to Broad Ripple in Dallas. So, like, it's like, I thought that's exactly why we, came here, is to like not see Broad Ripple. So, yeah, my point on that was like number one, like, figure out what you want and don't come to a different city state to find the exact same thing. Like that was like the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's funny that you all both mentioned a place. I do this often with people.
Really?
Yeah. So like friends meeting each other and stuff like that. Like probably when y'all met each other, I never gave much context of either person.
I like that too, honestly.
And I do that so that like if I tell you like, hey, this person wears hoodies and they drink this kind of drink and they're from this neighborhood, you automatically like, oh, I have a friend that's like that. And whatever connotation you have with that friend, you associate it. So like, I do this all the time with people as I try to give as little context as I can. If you jail together, then you jail together. If you don't, you don't. But why do I need to draw the inference or comparison for a whole person?
True. Yeah. Also, it's like how, like just for us two, for instance, like how I perceive Lois isn't going to be how you see Lois, right? So like
exactly.
I respect that. I like that a lot too. I think maybe subconsciously I do it. For me, I don't know if it's just a me thing or other people, but like if I'm introduced to like a mutual friend, like a friend of a friend, right? I will never, even if I don't like the friend of a friend, like I'm never gonna be like shitty to them out of respect for my friend.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Not saying I don't like you, Los. I just no. I realize now that could come out wrong, but
too late now.
Because it's like I think about it in my position. Like if I want my friends to hang out, right? Like if two don't get along, like that makes me feel bad. And so like even if I don't like necessarily like that acquaintance, I don't know. I guess it depends on the relationship with my friend too. Like but it's just like I don't know. I haven't encountered this situation in a long time, but
you should try it. You should try it. You should try to invite your friends around each other without no context. Like, hey, I want you to meet my friend. My friend's name is Kenny. Oh, okay. What's Kenny like? Oh, I worked with Kenny.
Exactly.
Cool. We gel over music.
Honestly, that's
what does he do? I just said you're about to meet him. Like, why don't you ask him that question? Like, you ask him. Why you gotta ask me?
That's what we do for basketball usually, though. Is like we for our basketball meetup, we just bring people in, and then the only thing we like make sure that we like vet is, are they a good person, right? Like, are you gonna be?
That's huge, yeah.
And at the core, that's what matters, because we all relate to each other differently. Like, is the most important part of all of this is, like you said, Kenny, is like we all relate to each other differently. So a connection I got with you, Kenny, it's not going to be the same that you got with Los. It just doesn't always happen that way.
And that's like the beautiful thing about that I've watched from like my basketball meetup is how people connect within like different like cliques and niche, right? Because you're gonna play the way we do is we do like 3 teams of 5 and it's pickup. So like we rotate teams every week. So you're gonna play the different people every week and people make connections. You find ways to connect to people. And then if you don't vibe, then you just don't talk as much, right? Like
yeah,
like we're all adults. Like you find people who you don't really click with, you don't have anything to connect you, so you're just like, okay, like
I'll just get the job done.
I'm an adult. Friendly version of natural selection.
Which, I mean, how many times have people had I'm sure all of us have had like coworkers who we just can't relate to, but you're always gonna.
I don't think I've ever had that happen.
Really?
There's a few, and
it's never had that happen.
It's always in my opinion,
I'm just shocked.
Yeah, in my opinion, they don't want to be related to. You ask me. When you try to find those mutual touch points, man, you got a dog in your background. Yeah, my dog is dead. Damn. You're like, oh my God, bro. One of those people who they want to burn every potential, point of reference or like bond.
Yeah.
Well, at least you tried. I mean,
it reminds me of an old NCO that I used to work with, man.
Let's switch gears because we kind of got in a heated conversation last week. Well, it was getting heated. let me say, and we unfortunately didn't. I don't think we got any of that part because it's we have conversations still.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I need
I
a
want to switch
refresher.
gears. I want to switch gears on and talk about Mr. Deion Sanders.
Mr.
Prime
Prime
time.
Time.
Hey, you got time today?
I got time today. That dude, man.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot going on right now, and I'm very interested in y'all take from a sports perspective, a coach's perspective. Like as far as I can see it, like this dude is supposed to be the savior of the HBCU, and recently he just signed a contract. I'm sure somebody know the numbers. A contract to Colorado, to do his thing. Massive contract. He did his thing at Jackson State, and now he's moving on. Like, y'all got any? How you feel about it, Los?
Yeah, man. First of all, anybody listening, you're gonna have to forgive me for my ignorance. I'm not a super huge football fan, but at the same time, we're talking about Deion Sanders, and this is somebody who, from sports to leadership, mentorship, just the person that he is, just reeks of excellence. So, like the first thing to highlight is just the impact that he has, and I've seen some stories that his players and people that he's impacted. They share stories and like just talk about how much he changed their life and stuff like that. So that's just on a small scale. But anywho, so yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Not a super huge football fan, so don't start
Los,
throwing
do you
numbers,
think he was right
conference,
or
none
wrong
of that crazy
for
stuff.
going to
Yeah.
Colorado?
So he originally, when he got to Jackson State, he said what? He said, I have a calling for HBCU. But at the same time, he did say that if I got an offer from a Power 5 school, I would entertain it.
Oh, so he's off the hook because Colorado is a Power 5 school.
I won't say off the hook, but I would also say don't be surprised. Like it was never meant, it was in the fine print, if you ask me. Okay. But
what are your thoughts, Leo? Are you upset that he went to Colorado?
No, I'm extremely conflicted. So hopefully we'll work it out in this conversation because I haven't thought enough to pick a side or talk to enough people to pick a side. The thing I can say though I have an issue with is how he seemed like he was like, hey, I'm bought into HBCUs. I'm trying to bring up the HBCUs, and that's what I'm here for. Mm-hmm. And him leaving for another position, I don't know all the details behind it, like the whys. There could have been some negative things at Jackson State that we don't know about. True. I think based on the news that just came out, that's been coming out at least, it was about the money. And that's what hurts is that like, number one, you left for money. And then number two, you started taking players and I think like coaches from other like the conference for the HBCU. So pretty much how I see it. He was doing good. I don't know how you can give up when he had so much.
Do you feel like he gave up on HBCUs?
I think he gave up on Jackson State. I think, and I won't completely
because he left. Yeah, I mean, I
think he was getting the support that he thought he was going to get. I don't like. But if you look at the numbers and you look at what he had to do in order to make happen what he was making happen, like to me, he was bending over backwards and some. And then I did see some videos from actual students at Jackson State, and they were talking about like how much of an expectation they had for him. Heads of programs, how much of an expectation they have for him. And it's like, then again, it takes a village. Like, how long were y'all going to lean on him? You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, let's bring up money. He was undercompensated, in my opinion. Of course, how long can you hold down Deion Sanders, especially when he's performing? It was going to reach a point where they can't afford to keep him. And then he was. I don't know if y'all heard the rumors. There was rumors that he couldn't keep. He was paying his staff out of pocket. They didn't want to pay his coaches, all types of crazy stuff. And then of course, as you saw, hey, my man Deion was mad at a mode that his stuff got stolen. that would have been the nail in the casket for me, man.
What are you talking about?
While he was in his game, somebody broke into his office only, and stole all his stuff. Yeah, that would have been it for me. That would have been it for me, man. I'd have been gone, bro. Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
But like, I don't think it was what he thought it was gonna be. So I
okay.
did watch that video when he was talking about, I had a call for HBCUs and everything he had planned, but that did make me cringe. But at the same time, I don't think it met what he thought it was going to. And I don't think he thought he was going to have to pour as much into it as he was. And he probably thought he was going to have more support. That's where celebrities was coming from.
Yeah.
That's
So his outgoing speech though was like, yo, look, in this industry as a coach, like you either move up or you move out. Like they move
elevated or terminated.
Elevated or terminated, And to me, what that's saying is like, hey, I had an expiration date on this. I was never planning on being here that long, Like, so to me, if you would have said in the beginning, hey, I just want to do something good for a couple of years, and then bounce, like I'm a football coach. Like, I don't feel like he approached any of this in the beginning as like, hey, I'm just a football coach and I happen to be doing it at a HBCU first.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it all sounded like, hey, like
he's the savior. He wants to be the savior. He's gonna be the hero.
Yeah. Like I'm about to change all of this.
Yeah.
You have to. You can't just walk in with. So my argument to play devil's advocate is like, while you would have been happier if you walked up and said like, I'm a football coach, I'm doing this, I'm like, I want to boost my resume and move up, right? That doesn't sell, right?
No.
People won't support that. Like,
the truth is nobody was giving him a shot.
Yeah.
So
LeBron didn't come to the Heat and go, all right, we're just going to give it our best shot and win a chip. No. How many rings did he say he were going to win? You remember after the decision?
That was probably in his intentions though. In all fairness.
But if LeBron just walked up there and be like, hey man, like I'm here with Bosh and Wade, we're gonna win one ring. Like we're gonna win a championship.
But he had a multi-year contract. He had a multi-year contract, and I think he said like for each of those years that he had a contract, he was gonna win a ring. It wasn't like, hey, I'm coming here because I have a calling.
You're just
a LeBron fan, man. You got to.
I know. I gotta use someone else. I knew he was
this is coming from Kenny. Jeez.
But I
think your point is that,
let's convert it. I think because I thought about this from a lens of like a professional lens, right? Like when you first join a company, like getting your foot into the door of a new industry. You come in with your head down, or I did at least, come in with your head down, your tail in between your legs. Guys, I just need a shot, But when you see, you start to get your footing, and you look up 6 months to a year down the road, 5 years down the road, and now you've developed this swagger, and you've got this tenure and experience and all these certifications and whatever. Like now, that's when old companies look at you, or maybe your company can look at you like, we gave you a shot when no one else would. Yeah, but y'all didn't hand me this work wasn't delivered for me. Like I still had to put in work, So like I'm looking at it from a similar lens.
But I think the difference
is a bit of a stretch or what, but you know what I'm saying?
No, I think it's a good look. So I think where the difference is like what you're saying. I think a lot of people who are going into jobs for the first time, or like lower level jobs in companies, are going to go in more shy, more bashful, more scared, like you said, tail between your legs. When you're in a position of power, like a head coach of a football team, or like I think a better analogy would be like a new CEO of a company is going to take over. They're not going to walk into the press conference and be like, we're going to just shoot to not, we're not going to make a profit. We're just going to break even.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear like middle of the road expectations. You want to shoot for the moon.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I think it was more, so maybe, I don't think he was telling lies. I think there was some truth in his speech, but I think I think it's more of like publicity thing. He's saying what sounds good to the listeners, sounds good to all the people that are backing him, like the board and everything. That's just my take on it.
And that's kind of my issue. I'd much rather someone be like, yo, things changed. And I'd never.
If he addressed that in his like leading speech
anywhere, If he was like, "Hey, look, y'all, from my original time that I came here, things changed. My perspective changed." I'd be like, "All right, sounds good, makes sense."
Like because I haven't seen any of his like exit speeches or the intro at Colorado, but has he said he never like said why he left, or like that it was because
intro
of the bag?
Colorado was like, "Hey, y'all, I got a new roster for you. Come here, son."
That's what I was just about to say. How would you feel, Kenny? You have not heard it?
I've seen that, and I read the article about that
How y'all
part at
feel about
least.
that? I feel like he couldn't have broke it no better.
That one, okay, when you're the worst team in Division
Bro, ain't
1
nobody
football,
in this room doing their job.
yeah.
Hey, and he didn't say just leave. He said if you're not here to compete, hop
Yeah.
in the portal.
I have faith that he's going to give everyone there a chance to win or a chance to compete
a chance
for
to
a spot.
fight and keep their spot. Yeah.
Yeah, he retracted on his statement. I don't know.
You got to spark something. I think, yeah, but he needs, like, I think that I don't know. We can't speak to it much. Like, we're just sideline armchaired.
Absolutely. Outside.
But I think
I'm an expert.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he'll provide a spark there, and I think he'll re-energize them. But
I agree.
One, his son is very good, so I hope he does well.
Yeah.
So, do you think his son? Someone mentioned this to me. You know, quarterback playing at Jackson State. No offense, but you know, Colorado goes against who? Like some pretty big teams, right? Yeah, they're not a Power 5, but if they go against any power, they are Power 5.
They're Pac-12.
Okay.
Or gotcha. Oregon State, Washington State, USC, UCLA.
Yeah. So any of those teams, think about a quarterback getting hit by any of those teams.
He'll be fine.
Well, what he said was he called him out in the middle of his speech is at the end of it. He said, "Where's Shadur? There go y'all quarterback." But he got to work for it. So if anybody competes and beat him out, that'll be the quarterback.
Yeah.
So another opportunity to compete. But I think like if somebody beat out Shadur, which I'm sure Deion ain't gonna let nobody beat out Shadur.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, bro.
from watching games and like stats and stuff, I think he's gonna be an above average quarterback for his first year at Colorado. I don't think he's gonna be the reason why they lose it, but he most likely will be a part of the reason why they win.
Okay.
And then I think he'll I don't think he's gonna do bad. I think maybe not this year, but the year after he'll have like a really good breakout year. But
okay,
I think he'll be good.
Yeah.
And I hope he shatters my expectations. But I'm setting the bar I'm giving him a good bar to break.
Absolutely. Hey, oh man, what was I gonna say? How do y'all feel about all these players that are not even in conversation hopping in the portal though?
The transfer portal has changed college sports, man.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Bro, like again, let's call it the Deion effect. Let's not be oblivious to the Deion effect. Like he got Travis Hunter. You know, he's already, I forget what the kid's name is. He's snatching ranked and, you know, top recruits left and right. And I don't think it's for no reason, you know, like to me, for him to impact me from, you know, and I ain't never met the man. I'm talking just solely speeches. So for players that actually, although they have a different or better opportunity to say, oh man, I got a chance to, you know, to be coached by Deion Sanders.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like just it's the Deion effect, bro. So like right now, I've seen some social media accounts of like some pretty big players who talking about like I'm about to hop in the portal. Why you think they hop in the portal? It's the Deion effect, bro. Like
yeah,
there's no reason for you to hop in the portal.
Why you hopping?
I mean, because they changed ever since they changed the rules for the transfers. They made like there's because you used to have to sit out. You used to have to sit out an entire year. But now I think you can transfer it. But if you don't get picked up anywhere, you lose.
Which I think is fair. Like I'll be honest, I never used to like the rule of you having to sit out a year. Like
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like why? You know, like there's literally no reason why.
Yeah, players are just like at that level that they want an opportunity. They like look at Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow bet on himself. He transferred I think 3 times.
Yeah. Crazy.
And now look at him. So it's like I like the transfer portal rules, but I can see like why they're bad because you have all this shuffling of teams. And,
Do y'all think Deion's gonna go to the NFL? Go back, I should say, I guess.
He said he can't. He said he can't because of the levels of intensity and determination. Like he's like talking about the hunger and whatnot. So when you make it to the NFL, you know, there's no drive. I ain't gonna say there's no drive there, but like there's some players that once they
get the bag, they're just
they hit the NFL, they lose that dog. Yeah. You know, so like he was saying pretty much, he was like, I don't think I could do it because I'll be in jail because I'll be done went upside somebody's head because they so caught up in themselves and you know, they ain't got that dog in them. So I'm trying to help them develop more than they trying to help themselves or something like that. But
wow,
that's what he said.
That's a common argument though for why people like college sports more than pro sports though.
yeah.
It's like if you feel like they're playing harder for something rather than
got to prove themselves. They're trying to make. And
Yep.
it's like, all right, cool. I made it now. Every catch, I make X amount of dollars. Every touchdown, I get a bonus. I'm good. You know, now you can send that text out to the family like, mama,
I made it.
But even college athletes are getting paid.
Pack your bag. Hey,
they're making money.
They what is that, NIL or something like that?
Yeah. Good for them, honestly.
I'm about to hop in the portal.
You gonna walk on?
You're washed. What do you play now?
Prime time. Kenny, Golightly, y'all got anything that's inspired y'all this week?
It's getting close to the holidays, man.
Getting close to the holidays, yeah.
I think it's
holidays
exciting.
are pretty much here.
You know, I encourage everyone to take time to themselves, to their family, like just disconnect for a little bit because we all been working too damn hard.
Yeah. True that.
Facts.
I second that.
Yeah, no, I think we on the same train. I'm not gonna lie, I am legitimately motivated because I'm about to take some time off. Like, not gonna lie, like that's what's motivating me right now. Y'all know I love to work, but like my breaks, my weeks off, days off, whatever, like priority in my life. So
yeah. Oh, I'll also say I was motivated by the fact that I was forced to take PTO for Christmas week. So they kicked me out. Like we got unlimited PTO, but they kicked me out. They was like, look, man, for the most part, everybody gonna be celebrating. Close that computer, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've never been kicked out of work, but still get, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, definitely inspired me. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe they invested in me a little bit. Now I owe, a little bit of extra efforts in there. Not that I'm leaving any on the table, but
Yeah. Next time we really gonna have to hop on here and talk about goals, y'all. So that's a action item. I gotta make mine because I'm at my 5-year mark. So of my list. So we gotta make goals. I got some goals for us for the new year. I'm excited. I want to get focused though. It's one thing I want to do is get focused on a few things. So
all right. That's
cool. I appreciate y'all hopping on. Thanks for listening. Like we always say, pursue excellence and cherish everyone. Peace. Yo, thank you for tuning into the P.E.A.C.E Podcast. This podcast actually started off with 4 friends sitting around a table once a week. We were having conversations to educate ourselves about the world around us, talking about what we're dealing with day to day as regular people, and simply to self-reflect. So that's all that you're seeing us do here, and you're getting to see it live. So I challenge you to do the same thing. If you've made it this far, obviously something caught your attention. So get a group of friends and build a small community and start to join in the conversation. Like, these are tough conversations. These are fun conversations, but these are conversations that are needed to be had. In fact, I want to make it easy for you. If you're listening to this podcast at home, invite a friend over. Or maybe invite 2 friends over, 3 friends over, whatever it is. Turn your TV on, your computer, your phone, wherever you want to watch it, turn the podcast on, okay? And join in the conversation. If you're listening to this maybe on a run, at the gym, I get it. I do the exact same thing. But maybe you can share the link, clip the file or something like that, and just pose one of the questions that you heard here today. The point is to build community and to self-reflect. Oftentimes, we don't vocalize the things that we need to work on, and that's one small way that I think that we can, help improve ourselves, improve others, and most importantly, pursue excellence and cherish everyone. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you again next week. Peace.